The twin suns of Voryth burned white over a wasteland of glass and dust. Each gust of wind carried whispers of forgotten battles, the ghosts of fallen soldiers whose bones had long since fused into the desert floor. Amidst that shimmering horizon, a single human trudged forward, his armor scarred, his visor cracked, his breath measured and shallow. Captain Elias Ward had been lost for 6 days. His dropship had been shot down behind enemy lines during a reconnaissance sweep over the Voran Empire's outpost ring. The fleet was gone, retreated to safer orbit after Admiral Voran's ambush. All comms were dead. His suit's water filters sputtered with sand. But Elias had something the Voran Empire never understood. Humans didn't stop. He crested a dune, scanning the horizon. In the distance rose the jagged silhouettes of a ruined alien temple, ancient, predating even the Voran Empire. The structure shimmered under heat mirage, half buried, half defiant. Smoke curled from its broken spires. A sign of life or death. Elias tightened his rifle strap and muttered to himself, "Guess that's as good a place as any to die." He descended into the ruins. The air changed inside the temple. Cooler, quieter. The stones thrummed faintly, alive with old energy. Strange runes pulsed under the dust like veins of bioluminescent coral. And somewhere deeper within, a sound, a low, rhythmic hum, like a heart still beating. Then he saw her. A woman, or something like one, knelt amid the shattered altar. Her skin was silver blue, faintly translucent, light moving under it like starlight through water. Her hair, long and white as plasma fire, lay tangled around a slender face streaked with tears and ash. She wore ceremonial armor torn at the seams, her left arm bleeding a dark, iridescent fluid. When she heard his boots crunch on the sand, her eyes snapped open, iridescent violet, glowing with fear and defiance. She raised a trembling hand, and the air between them shimmered with psychic energy. "Stay back, Terran," she hissed in accented English. "Your kind brings only ruin." Elias froze. He could barely lift his rifle, but he did, out of habit. The standoff lasted a long heartbeat. Two broken survivors eyeing each other across a battlefield older than both their worlds. "I'm not here to fight you," he said quietly. "Name's Elias Ward, Captain Terran Defense Corps." She didn't lower her hand. "Your war burned my home. Your fleets shattered the skies." He glanced around the temple. "Doesn't look like your people are doing much better." That got her attention. She blinked, fury fading into exhaustion. Then, with a faint shudder, the psychic field flickered out, and she slumped to the ground. Elias hesitated. Every tactical instinct screamed to move on. He had no supplies, no backup, no reason to stay. But something about the way she fell, the sudden, heavy silence that followed, pulled him closer. He knelt beside her and checked for a pulse. Her skin was cool, almost luminescent under his glove. "Hang on," he muttered, digging into his emergency pack. He sealed her wound with coagulant foam. Her breathing steadied, but she was weak, her eyelids fluttering. Why help me?" she whispered. Elias looked out toward the desert, where the suns burned mercilessly. "Because everyone else forgot how." She stared at him like she was seeing something alien. Then her hand brushed his wrist, light, cautious, and a faint current surged between them. He felt a flash of memory, not his own. A city of silver towers falling in a fire, children screaming under alien bombardment, and a woman's voice whispering, "Remember us." Elias gasped and pulled back. "What the hell was that?" "Last of anything's never a good thing to be," Elias replied. "Come on, we need shelter before nightfall." They spent the next hours fortifying the temple's inner chamber. Elias repaired a shattered wall with scrap plating. Kayla rekindled ancient luminescent crystals with a gesture. The place felt alive again, humming faintly like it recognized her touch. When they sat to rest, he offered her a water ration. She sniffed it suspiciously, then drank. "You humans are strange," she said. "You fight empires with your bare hands and yet share water with your enemies." He shrugged. "You stopped being the enemy when everyone else left you to die." She studied him. "You think compassion makes you strong?" I think it's why we're still here. The wind howled through the cracks of the temple, carrying faint metallic echoes, drones, maybe patrols. Kayla stiffened. They're searching for survivors. If they find you, they'll flay you alive. Not if I shoot first, Elias said grimly, checking his weapon. You got any tricks left? She closed her eyes. The air thickened. Sand shifted outside as unseen forces bent to her will. For a while, she murmured, but psychic energy drains the body. Too long, and I'll burn out. Then we make it quick. Night fell like a shroud. The desert glittered under twin moons. Patrol lights swept the dunes, searching, relentless. Elias and Kayla crouched behind a broken archway, breath slow, silent. A drone hovered close, scanning. Kayla's hand trembled as she extended her psychic field, bending its sensors just enough for it to drift past. When it was gone, Elias exhaled. Remind me not to piss you off. She gave him a sideways look. You already did. You're just fortunate I'm tired. He grinned. Lucky me. They stayed like that for a moment. Two fugitives pressed close in the dark, breathing the same air. He felt the faint pulse of her life through the armor, steady and soft. She turned her face toward him, eyes luminous in the moonlight. Why do you fight? She asked quietly. Your species could have hidden, surrendered, adapted. Yet you burned through the stars, unyielding. Elias stared at the horizon where the patrol lights faded. Because every empire thinks we'll bow. Because they look at us, small, chaotic, fragile, and see weakness. But we remember every scar, every name, and when we fight, we don't fight for conquest. We fight for each other. Her voice softened. You fight for love. He looked at her then, really looked. Yeah, I guess we do. At dawn, they moved out. Kayla guided him through canyons laced with crystal veins, natural energy conduits that powered the old temples. In the distance, smoke rose from a massive structure, a Vorin command post. Through binoculars, Elias saw something that froze his blood. Rows of alien prisoners. Labor camps. Starved figures under guard towers. And in the center, a massive relay dish pulsing faintly. The signal jammer blocking human fleet transmissions. That's why the fleet never came back, Elias muttered. They think we're dead. Kayla's eyes darkened. That dish feeds on psychic energy. My people build it as a communication lattice. The Empire twisted it into a weapon. If we take it down, the fleet hears us. She nodded slowly. You'd never reach it alone. He smirked. Good thing I'm not alone anymore. For the first time, she laughed, a sound like wind over glass. You're mad. Little bit. They infiltrated at dusk. Elias led the charge through maintenance tunnels. Kayla cloaked them in psychic mirage. When guards appeared, she distorted their senses. When alarms sounded, Elias silenced them with well-placed plasma bolts. It was chaos and grace, human grit fused with alien power. In the core chamber, the relay hummed like a living heart. Kayla approached, hands trembling. It's bound to me, she said. Only my kind can unmake it. Then do it fast. As she linked with the structure, her body glowed with pale light. Memories spilled through the room. Voices, laughter, pain. Elias saw flashes of her world before its fall. He reached out, steadying her as energy surged. Kayla, stay with me. I can feel them, she gasped. All the souls that devour my sisters, my kin, they're crying out. Then make it right, he said fiercely. Show them what you're made of. With a cry, she unleashed a wave of psychic force. The relay shattered in a storm of light. Alarms blared. The compound shook. Outside, the night sky lit up with a single flare, the jammer collapsing. Far above, somewhere in the void, the Terran fleet's sensors blinked to life. Elias grinned. They'll hear us now. But Kayla collapsed. He caught her before she hit the ground. Her skin flickered, dimming. Too much, she whispered. I burned too bright. Hey, no, he said, holding her close. You're not dying on me. Not after all this. Her hand brushed his cheek. Elias, humans, you never stop fighting. And we don't stop loving either. She smiled weakly. Then maybe there's hope for us all. He pressed his forehead to hers, feeling her breath steady. Outside, the first Terran ships broke through the clouds. engines roaring like thunder. The Voran patrol scattered, blind and panicked. For the first time in weeks, Elias Ward allowed himself to believe they might actually live. When the dawn rose over Voryth, the desert no longer seemed dead. The ruins gleamed faintly, the air alive with energy. Kayla, recovering, stood beside Elias as Terran soldiers arrived to extract them. She looked toward the sky, tears catching the sun. "Your people came back," she said softly. "Yeah," Elias replied. "We always do." She turned to him, eyes full of unspoken promise. "What happens now?" He smiled, weary but alive. "We rebuild. Together." As the dropship lifted off, the temple below pulsed once, like a heartbeat returning to life. In that moment, as the suns rose behind them, Kayla reached for his hand. He took it. In her touch, he felt the future, shared, fragile, and bright. And across the stars, for the first time, the Voran Empire learned what every conqueror eventually did. They thought we were weak. Then humanity fought back.